What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are in the shop and we are going to continue working on the dead plates build. So this is a budget build rock crawler that I'm building for the BleepinJeep Beast Wars later on this year. And today we're going to start putting the gears and lockers in. I'm going to be throwing in some 513s, and I'm going against my gut, and because it is a budget build and this is going to be strictly a rock crawler and off-road use only, I'm going to try to reuse the bearings and the shims inside of the carrier.
Dude, seriously, you can't do that.
I realize that is not smart or intelligent at all, but I'm just trying to keep costs down wherever I can. And over the years of me doing ring and pinions and gear installs, I do have quite a collection of shims and stuff and bearings from Dana 44s. So I'm gonna try to use those. To be honest with you, I don't know if I can get away with it, but I'm gonna at least try. East Coast Gear Supply is about an hour and a half away from my shop. So if I run into any snags or anything like that, all I have to do is call them up and I can have something here next day. But like I said, this is really not very intelligent. So just take everything that I do today with a grain of salt. The last time y'all saw this on the channel, I replaced the power steering pump because it was puking everywhere. And I'm pleased to announce that I got the leak to go away, so it doesn't leak anymore. And you can see it kind of cleaned up everything, just looking for any leaks, and so that's good. I don't have any more leaks from the power steering pump. Now I've just got leaks everywhere else, but we're not gonna worry about that. It's just sweat and horsepower. Just kidding, it's leaking from the transfer case. So I may look into that. Probably won't, but for the sake of sounding like a responsible Jeep owner, we'll look into it. So I think the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the rear. Whenever I do re-gears, for some reason I always start with the rear, and now I've just got to get these TSLs off. So now I've got to come in here and take this drive shaft out, or at least take it off of the pinion right here. That's the wrong way. So I did spray this with PB Blaster about 30 seconds ago, so plenty of time for that to set in. So I got the drive shaft kind of tucked up out of the way. The U-joint actually fell all apart, so I'm going to be replacing that. But now I'm going to get this differential cover off and go ahead and drain all the fluid out. Oh yeah. Let's see what we got. Pretty dirty in here, but I've seen a lot worse. So now I'm just going to start the cleaning process. Even though this is just a budget build, I still want to make sure it's pretty clean in here. So I'm just going to take a rag and just kind of get that gunk out right there. Oh, just get all in there. It's really gross. Now I'm just going to take some brake cleaner. Let that start loosening up everything. Now I need to mark these carrier bearing caps, and you can either use a punch, sometimes I use a drill bit just to mark a 1, 2, 3, 4, that way they go back on the exact same. I'm just going to put just a marking right here. And like I said, those are very, very, very light markings. And just make sure that you don't get any metal shavings anywhere. I know they all fell out right there, but so now I've got 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so now we're going to jump on to getting this axle shaft out. There is a nut on the back side of this right here. There's 4 of them that's holding this on. Use this massive hole in the axle shaft to actually get a socket in there. But now I got to get these axle shafts out. And Dana 44s are not C-clipped. I believe it's just kind of pressed in. So now we have to remove this axle shaft. I just bought a new slide hammer from Harbor Freight. It was on sale, so we're about to use it for the first time and see how well it works. So if you don't have a slide hammer, I have in the past, I put the rotor on backwards and just loosely put the lug nuts on. That way it's kind of like an itty bitty slide hammer. That should be good right there. Woo! All right. That's nuts. Yeah, I can see right here. I'll show you. So it looks, you can see right here where all this was just seized up in there. Sweet. So I'm going to get this all tore apart, and then I'm going to go ahead and pull the other side out. It is really dirty in there. Nice. I got the other side out, and now I'm just going to take this axle shaft out. And to be honest with you, I should replace these bearings just because they are very tired. But I'm probably not, just because I know this thing isn't going to see a lot of, or any highway. This is really dirty. Whenever I put everything back together, I'll probably just clean everything up really good. So I'm just gonna go ahead and assume that this is gonna be a pain in the butt to get out, because everything else has been also. There we go. All right. Holy crap. That was really in there. So the next thing I'm gonna do is get this pinion out. Sweet. All right, so now I'm gonna get everything to my table, and I'm just verifying that I have all the shims on the back side of this, because that's gonna be kind of my baseline of where I start things. Now that I have everything on my table, I'm gonna start breaking this carrier down, and the first thing I'm gonna do is just go ahead and rip off all of the ring gear bolts. So now I need to locate the cross pin, and I'm going to drive out the pin that's holding in the cross pin that's holding in the spider gears, because we're going to be putting in the locker. So I'm going to be using one of these long punches to get out that dowel pin right there. That way I can get that cross pin out, but first I have to let Pickle out because he's meowing at the door. Go outside. Run free. All right, now I can get some work done. So here's that dowel pin I was telling you about. So now I've verified that all of the washers, the thrust washers, are out, because we're not going to be reusing those. And now I'm just going to start just assembling the locker. Get all my little springs and pins and everything like that. So I know y'all, if you've been watching me, I'm a huge fan of these Spartan lockers just because they're so easy to install and they work really well, and they have really good off-road and on-road mannerisms. First thing that I'm going to do is, now that I got this all cleaned up, is I'm just going to take a little bit of red and tacky and just put on the inside right here. And the reason I'm doing that is because this will just help seat it, and it'll help hold it there. So as I'm moving it all around, getting it set up, this red and tacky will just keep it in place. You just put it like that and it stays. It kind of makes it defy gravity. Before I install these in the carrier, I'm going to just put some grease on everything And you can see right there, it just goes in that hole, and you can kind of compress it with your finger. So these little rods are made to go in and push it down, and it keeps that spring and that cap receded inside of the actual locker itself. So I'm going to do that 4 times. I'm going to come in here, push it down, just like that. So now it'll go in real easy. And I like to put just a little bend on them right there. That way they kind of go in just a little easier. See, like that? So I bend it up, that way it kind of goes in a little easier. You don't have to do that, but I just find it just makes it a little more simple. So now I can install this side right here. Same thing to this one. Yeah. That I verified that everything is lined up, and you'll know that with the center hole for the cross pin to go in. And you can see right there, there's an indentation where that locker cap actually goes into the other side. So what I'm going to do, I verified that it's lined up, and now all I have to do is pull this out. You hear it click, that means it's engaged. And you can visually inspect it, and I can see in there that it is engaged. Pull it out, and I can spin this around and do the same thing. It does come with a new cross pin, so I'm just gonna lightly grease that up so that whenever I'm installing it, it just goes in a little easier. And it does come with a new dowel pin also, so that's good. So I'm going to line this up to where the cross pin can go all the way through. I'm going to set it on the side that we all can see. And I'm also going to put some red and tacky on this just to make sure that it goes down easy. Put that right there. And just start lightly tapping this in. All right, so I've got that tapped in. Now I can kind of just look at everything, visually inspect that the locker is correct, and it is. So now we can put on this ring gear. On this ring gear, I just went and cleaned everything up as good as I can, and I did put some Loctite in all the holes that I'm using. And so now I can drop this ring gear onto this clean mating surface. Now I'm just going to get these started. Run these down with the impact, and then I'm going to come back and torque them down to spec. So I had to let my camera battery charge a couple of minutes, but what I did was I removed the old bearing from this pinion, the old pinion right there, and now I have it on my new one. And I just pressed it on, it came right off, went right back on. So this is now a certified pre-owned bearing.
What?
This is illegal.
We're ready to actually go to the Jeep and put everything back together. So I know what you're probably thinking, that I'm just like a huge hack job and then I should be anywhere near like tools or anything, and you're probably right, but this is, like I said, this is just a budget build. I'm trying to keep everything costs down as possible, and I have some pretty big plans if I actually get to keep this Jeep whenever I bring it home. And those plans do not include these axles, so these axles mean absolutely nothing to me. But now I'm going to get everything thrown in the Jeep and see what kind of pattern that I get. So guys, I promise you, I'm not like bull crapping you. I've been completely honest this entire build, whether it was good or bad, ugly, but this is my first pattern, and I've only checked one spot. I like to check 3. I was told I need to check 4 by my buddy that works at East Coast Gear Supply, but check this out. So this is my first pattern right here. See if I can spin it for you. That's exactly what I was wanting. So I'm gonna verify that it's correct in 4 spots just to double check that I'm not getting a false reading or anything like that. So I checked my pattern in 4 different spots and I'm getting the same reading all the way around. So now I'm going to get everything kind of torqued down and just buttoned up. The rear all buttoned up. I have made sure my gasket is all nice and sealed. It looks good. Now I've just got to put some differential fluid and then put some U-joints in that drive shaft in the front. And if you look, I've actually got the front all tore down. So I kind of did that last night. It was about the same condition as the rear. Then I've got everything for my hub assemblies and bearings and stuff. Those all looked pretty good, just kind of dirty. And that's the lockout hubs right there. I've just got to clean that up. It's got really old grease on it. Now I'm to the point where I need to get that Spartan locker in this carrier. So I'm gonna do that and then wrap everything back up and then we'll check the pattern. I gotta get the bearing pressed on the pinion. I've got it marinating in the freezer right now. And then I can throw it all back together, check my pattern, get my backlash set, and then we'll get everything back together. So I'll update y'all in a few minutes. So I just pulled a pattern on the front and I'll show you what I got. So check this out. So that's pretty much spot on.
Well, good enough for me.
I'm gonna check this in about 3 other spots just to make sure. My backlash is a little tight on both of these axles, but I think that'll be just fine for just a dedicated rock crawler. I'm gonna say that is a pass on the gear pattern. And then I gotta get my dial indicator just to make sure that the inch pounds for this pinion is where I want it to be. It feels right. I think it's about 18 inch pounds is what I shoot for, but it feels about right. I'll still put my inch pounds indicator on there just to verify that they are in spec. I know I'm not doing this correctly, but I still want to. It's just good practice to do that. So now I'm really to the point I need to start just getting everything back together, get the axle shafts back in, and then get all the hubs and everything buttoned up. Okay, so I have the front axle all back together. I did inspect the wheel bearings and they were good. They were a little dirty, but I just repacked them with grease and just put everything back in. And I feel pretty confident that it's gonna at least hold together for the competition. I'm not gonna say that this would do great going 60 miles an hour down the road, but I think for the competition, that's really what I'm building these axles for. Like I said, I do have some big plans for this Jeep if I get to keep it. That is a big if I get to keep it. And I don't think anybody's gonna buy it, but there's still the chance. And the plans that I have for this Jeep do not involve these Dana 44s. So like I said, you can call me a hack job in the comments, but basically this is just a budget build hack job Jeep. If you think this was a hack job, go back and watch how I dove nosed the front. Then you will really call me a hack job. So I watched a video today on YouTube of Dex working on his XJ that he's taken to this competition, his budget build. And his XJ is actually on its side and he's rebuilding, and he was honing out the inline six. So I'm just saying, I feel like this is just gonna be like the battle of the hack jobs. I didn't put the brake calipers on because I think I'm gonna put new brake calipers on it, because those are probably the brake calipers from 1978, and I don't feel super comfortable taking those super steep cliffs and stuff like that. The money that I saved by not putting in new bearings and seals, I think I'm gonna put that towards new calipers. The rear drums, they seem okay for drum brakes. I don't know if you've ever heard me say on this channel, but I absolutely loathe drum brakes. They are the absolute dumbest design, and I can't stand them. If I was for sure gonna keep this Jeep, I would definitely do a rear disc brake conversion. I probably wouldn't even use these axles, but I would definitely do a disc brake conversion because disc brakes are so much better than drum brakes. But I think I'm just gonna focus on getting these front brakes dialed in with new calipers and a new set of brake pads. Because you can see right here, like this one's all leaky. And they probably need new brake lines too. But these calipers are tired, boss. And you might be saying to yourself, well, what are you gonna do about breaking in those differential gears? I plan on breaking those gears in as they are plowing up the rocky trails in eastern Tennessee, which is also highly not recommended. But it's getting super late, so I'm probably gonna end this video right here, but I appreciate y'all watching me install these gears and lockers in dead plates here. I know this is definitely not a how-to video, but this is like a how-to hack up a gear install. But it can be done. It's just very, very, very not recommended. But anyway, I appreciate y'all watching. If you don't mind, hit that like button and make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss out on anything with this Jeep in the future. Like I said, we're gonna be taking this to eastern Tennessee, and I plan on absolutely sending this Jeep.